Good morning and welcome to Talk Politics on Smooth 98.1. If you hear that sound, you definitely know it's time for us to talk politics. And as he and I would say, usually at this time on Thursday, we say it's Talk Politics o'clock, right?
Yes, it's
So
politics o'clock.
I am Omasheye Ashenua, and he's
I'm Victor Pepple. Thank you very much for being a part of the show today. We're here with you for the next 45 minutes,
mm-hmm,
right? And there are quite a number of interesting stories, real big stories to talk about. If you want to hear about the PDP, we'll touch on it today.
mm-hmm,
Imo State having four speakers in 2 years. Wow. We'll talk about it as well. The Senate resuming plenary, it's on the table.
yeah.
The president in the United States, New York to be more precise,
Mm,
we'll talk about it.
okay. Well, eventually, as it stands right now, you've been looking forward to that speech by Mr. President. So I
Why
think
is everybody smiling and shaking their heads like, okay, yeah, truly?
you've been looking forward to that speech.
Let's
Remember?
talk about how they can be part of the show first or
Okay,
last.
so all right. Oh, sorry. I'm just so excited to get into the menu for the day. But so quickly, if you're listening and you're tuned in right now, you can be part of the conversation. It's very important because when we talk politics, it's also good to hear your voice. As they say, the voice of the people is the what? The voice of God.
Okay.
I'm not really. My Latin manners, I've forgotten it.
No,
But
no, it's
then
okay. I
I
like your
know.
new quote.
Oh, come on, Victor. Can we just have a truce and get a show with
Oh,
the
it's
show
okay.
now?
It's okay. It's
So you
okay.
can be part of the show by reaching us up on 014489981 will be the number to call. Those lines we want it to be buzzing when the time comes. And then, of course, on WhatsApp will be on 0809 444 0981 will be. Victor.
Mm. In fact, if you're tuned in for the first time, you're in a good place because today we're discussing Nigeria's politics. A lot of people have said when it's time for politics in Nigeria, you get popcorn, all right, and get a frizzy drink as well if you want. I don't know if beer and popcorn goes in tandem.
We've moved away from there was the time, yeah, of course, where I only know when you go for conventions, you are likely to get popcorns and ice cream.
With children's convention, or
When you go for certain political parties,
they don't give popcorn. Oh,
in
no, you don't know what they give. It's daytime radio. I'd have told you exactly what they give at political conventions
Victor,
or
I
mass.
don't
What
know.
is this? I know you're a Christian and you don't drink what they drink at political conventions, but
Victor, don't
let's
be too
tell
sure.
let's tell the people the truth. It's not ice cream they give at APC convention. It's not true.
I
Or
never said APC.
okay,
Come on.
PDP.
So, Victor, can we speak about the president's UN
Well,
address now?
the president left Nigeria perhaps over the weekend for the UN General Assembly, the 77th session, apparently. Now, the president was going to make a speech on Wednesday, right? It started on Tuesday. So let's backtrack a bit. The president left the country on Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. The vice president left the country on Sunday. So two different locations, one to US, one to UK. While the vice president went to the UK to attend the funeral rites, the final respects to Queen Elizabeth II, which he brought out his accent there, and I love it. The president 3 days ahead, a bit 2 days ahead, went to the US to rehearse his scripts, ahead of the UN General Assembly. He was going to make a speech on the second day, as at 9 a.m. US time, 2 p.m. Nigerian time. And the president spoke a lot. Apparently, he was built to speak on higher education for Nigeria, but I like my president so much. He talked about free, fair, credible elections in 2023 and how he's not going to return to the UN as president to speak next year. A new face will come to speak. So this is his last. He also went on to talk about debt forgiveness. Say climate change has affected everything in Nigeria. In fact, even those that borrow cannot even pay back. And usually loans have a moratorium period of 25 to 30 years. And he's begging that, please, there's something called push forward.
Mm.
Just move it ahead, move it in, because as it is now, we might not meet up.
What was he quick to also add that the COVID pandemic was also part of why we can't
Oh
meet up
yes,
our debt
even
obligation?
Ukraine serve is part of why we could not meet up.
Okay.
Uh,
All right. In all of this, there are several talking points from the president's UGA address, but for me, I like the fact that he's been always quick to mention, look, guys, I'm in a hurry to leave. I won't stay in Aso Rock beyond the hours prescribed by the Constitution. So that's a good thing for a man who's leaving. So it shows that, well, he's imbibed the tenets of not sit tight now, because we know his contemporaries in some places like Equatorial Guinea and some other places, they've been there for as much as more than 30 years now. But that's not the gist right now. So it's always good when the outgoing president is also giving this vibe of saying, look, I'm going, I'm going. So it also gives the urgency to those who want to come, part of the system, that yes, it's good for us to vie for it. But the issue I have here is this talk about credible elections and all of those.
I think that's where I like it. The president consistently calling for free, fair, credible elections show that he will not interfere in the elections. Get my point.
All right.
His party is also running in this election,
That's the cross of the
but
matter.
he's not going to interfere. If you win, you win by. Did you see what happened at the APC primaries? Exactly what will happen in 2023.
Okay.
He will be in Dara in his usual fashion. Oh, I love my Mr. President so much. He's always with toothpick. I don't know why. I mean, almost all the time that I almost said we've met, he's with toothpick. What happened before that time, I don't know. He would be in Dara just watching on TV what is going on across the country. For me to interfere by calling INEC, which is an electoral umpire, an independent management body for elections, I will not do that. That's what Mr. President has constantly said. I will not, you know, campaign for any other political party aside the APC. He has said that also before.
Yes.
And I wondered where that would even come from.
The thing is, now in a gathering of over 150 leaders, world leaders, this is why I like it. Now, he has gone there to give his word of smooth transition come next year. Now, the rest of the world are looking forward, to holding him to account.
Oh, yes.
That's what he has done now.
Oh, yes.
He's put himself out there. If his word would be his bond, so the world is watching. But the only thing again, when your intro, you talked about choosing to go ahead. Look, you must learn to go ahead. You don't brush and fly into the US. And two, it was tactical for him not to have gone
Even Max, wait. US president, was he in UK or he was not in UK?
If you were going to hold on, I was
Okay.
going to mention that
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Now,
Sorry.
don't forget that
Sorry.
when everybody rushed to the UK, there's a backlash coming from that UK incident where you had to convey leaders of their various countries and then you shuttle them in a bus. My president didn't, he saw that. It was the president who saw tomorrow.
What are you talking about?
And that's why he sent his vice there. I would
So
be
enter bus?
I would be so angry if President Buhari had gone on that. He had gone there, and then he would be shuffled like school children in a bus. And then one man, starring so big, he was driving the beast all over the tiny roads of the UK.
That's the president of
We
the
are
United
big.
States.
Nigeria is
So
also big
while,
on the continent.
While your president was already ahead in New York, he decided he was going to go to the UK and he will come back and he'll memorize his own scripts and still give a speech there. He started on the 20th of September, being Tuesday, 21st.
He finished
Yesterday,
when?
the president spoke. And we're keeping fingers crossed, and we'll see what comes out of that. However, the president's asking for debt forgiveness. Maybe he's inspired by China, their friends or elder brothers, in terms of loans taking. Because on the 24th of August, 2022, there was a report that China picked 17 African countries for debt forgiveness. I cannot tell if Nigeria was among the 17, but I want to believe. Because we've taken a lot of loans, over $3 billion from China, hoping to pay back in the next 25 years. President Buhari will not be president at that time. God keeping him alive will not be the one to pay. It's Nigeria that will pay. Some 25 years from now, I don't know where President Buhari will be, but did we take loans or not as a country? Yes, we did. It's only apt that if our name was not on that list of 27, you beg them. We're not that buoyant.
Is there any country that is debt-free? So it doesn't make it look like it's just Nigeria alone.
Well, so much said about Mr. President. We'll take our first break. When we come back, we'll get straight to the Red Chamber, the Senate, all the way in Abuja. Stay with us.
If there was no UN, he will be inside that bus. He will be inside
He
that
might
bus.
not exactly go
Go
for it.
because that's his
He might
position.
not go. He sends the vice president, and that's fine by some people. And I don't like to bring the religious coloration to
Yeah.
it, but
Okay.
we know that it was a full church thing
Thing.
Yeah.
in the UK.
Okay.
The
Yes.
president does not know him 109.
Drop it down.
Yes.
Yes. So Belsheba Joe, of course, is a pastor, so he will know him.
Yes.
Oh, hail the power, you'll be able to blend in. And over and beyond that,
Where are you going now?
I was so impressed, Senate.
Okay, good. Good, good.
I was so impressed. Take that story. I was impressed that the president, this vice president, was speaking fluently like this. So
Speaking British English.
did you watch President Buhari at the UN?
No.
Oh my God! I now wished there was even the VP
Maybe that went.
to. I know, to eloquently deliver.
But Abi,
In 2023, we need a president that can.
I think Atiku cannot deliver.
We cannot
If
at this
Tinubu-
level of our democracy
Tinubu-
be,
Shetima will
be
go
going
there.
to those large gatherings, and our president is not. Even Peter, it's not like his English is very.
Don't let us start that. That's his interview that he went for, and it was anyway. Don't even go.
But at least that's about the candidate. The only one that still went on CNN now.
It's not by that one, no.
But he spoke well now.
Who do you want to? I see a lot of interviews online. Who do you want to be next president? They say Peter Obi. Do you have PVC? No.
Oh.
Smile.
If only elections were made by mouth.
Our society is underdevelopment because of an alien system on our people.
Talk politics on Smooth 98.1.
And so we are back once again. It's time for us to talk politics. And so we get on to our next item on the menu, and that's the fact that the Nigerian Senate is back. The rats, they call them the Red Chamber. They're back and they're off eating the ground running because yesterday it was quite a busy day for them. They had to confirm the appointment of the Chief Justice of Nigeria. And, several other issues were there for them to tackle. And it's been 7 weeks of rest. It is time for them to get into business. And let's not also forget, too, that when they resume, their younger colleagues in the Green Chamber have also been at work, too, trying to speak with the academic staff union of the universities to see how they can get them to soft pedal before that judgment came in from the Abuja court yesterday. And so they've been asking them to go back to work. So it's a good thing because they are back on time, but sadly, the whole of, let's say, next week and next month, they'll be back to politicking again. And from the last time I checked, they're expecting the president to come in and deliver next year's budget by the first week of October, as early as possible. So if they do that quickly, because they are down to politicking the whole of October,
of course we know.
November.
But I think that it's also shameful that in 2021...
Shameful to resume?
No, in 2021, the Senate sat for only 66 days. This is according to Premium Times, right? Also bearing in mind that their work is what you call in local parlance soft work. Senators go to work Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Go and verify. They don't work Mondays and Fridays. Work, I mean plenary sessions. They may be at the National Assembly complex at their offices, maybe attending to committee functions. This is me making a case for them. But plenary inside red chambers discussing is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, in the whole of 2021, it was not an election campaign or electioneering campaign season, and they sat for 66 days out of 365. Were they paid salaries? Yes, including allowances. They were paid. Guess what? This is in breach of Section 63 against the 181 days stipulated by law. Nobody did anything about it. So if in 2021 that, it wasn't even an election year, they sat for 66 times instead of the agreed 181 stipulated by Section 63 of our Constitution by law. They did not. How about this year? And I will give you a breakdown. I don't even want to start up, when they resumed in January this year. They resumed towards the end of January because they went on Christmas break. which is also their entitlement. If I'm angry too much, I should contest and see if it's easy to be a senator. It's only 3 from each state in Nigeria. So they went on break, came back towards the end of January, and then they took another break for renovation this year. I can't get the dates, but the dates I can get for you is the 29th of June. They were going to embark on a 19-day Salah recess. We have not forgotten. They went on break for 19 days. They called it Salah recess from the 29th of June. Guess what? They got back in July. And on the 27th of July, they decided to embark on another break for 7 weeks. And they called that their annual recess. And just next week, Wednesday here, I'm just pointing my hand. Next week, Wednesday here, 28th of September, campaigns will start. The speaker, of course, we know he's on the side of the APC, very close friend to the presidential candidate of the APC.
Purple.
Will he be presiding over
Purple.
matters? Let me say this thing en masse. Will he be presiding? Have the senators of the opposition party also forgotten that 27th of July this year, they stormed out of the red chambers when plenary was going on, and they threatened to impeach Mr. President. There were some Nigerians that were waiting for them to come back after these 7 weeks to continue what they started. Nobody is saying, I'm trying to remind them, if they were very, very serious about those things that they said. They talked about insecurity in Nigeria, and they were going to, institute impeachment proceedings against Mr. President for bringing Nigeria to where it is now. How come no one is saying anything about it? And next week now they'll begin campaigns again.
Purple, can you see the problem? This is the problem senators would have with people like you, because you are not a senator, so you won't understand how these things work.
Oh, so after 7 weeks they've suddenly changed.
You hold on.
Okay.
Now, if they are not at the National Assembly, that does not mean that they are not working. Don't forget there are other oversight functions. They need to get back to constituencies. They have to respond to all of those needs.
Omas, the law says they should sit for 181 days. Section 63. Go and check.
Wait, but even if that, look, you're 100.
This year, I'm not sure they've sat for up to 40 times.
Okay, look, but the bottom line is, this job is very hectic, and they need.
Omas, hectic. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday.
Do you know the volume of work they do?
Coming from someone who is in the newsroom, I should tell them what time you come to work and what time you leave. Why are you making a case for these senators that received salaries, received allowances? They will still receive them when they are on campaign ground. Let's move to Imo State, please.
Make it, well, probably drag them to court, or should we let Serap know what to do? Because Serap, Serap would have a hand in every pie right now.
But let's talk about Imo State Assembly.
Now, this Imo case is very interesting. You know why? It seemed like most often than not, if people have the background kind of information you and I will talk about before this thing happened, just last week after this show,
Right.
we were having one of those meetings and we were talking, and then you mentioned how speakers even emerge in Imo State,
Right.
and how a certain dress code has become the fashion because it is to please the man, the big man who is in government house, sort of. And then you mentioned all of those things, even why a certain person could not be speaker. The only reason why is settling for number 2, but yet it determines who becomes the head of the legislature in that state.
Interesting.
We spoke too early last week.
It
As if we knew.
In fact, we spoke about the Queen. We spoke about Imo State. We spoke about IU and even BOT.
We will get there. So let's get to Imo now.
Okay.
That's
so,
the third speaker in what?
Fourth. Why
Fourth.
are you? Okay. Fourth speaker. So let me tell you, right? We all remember that in 2019, a certain Emeka Ihedioha stood in for election on the platform of the PDP and won that election as at 2019, right? He was sworn in May 29th in 2019. It took a few months for the Supreme Court to give a judgment and pronouncement on that same election from Imo State. Now, the announcement the Supreme Court was going to make perhaps was supposed to be on the platform of the APC as a party, but it affected the full general elections. I tell you what, Hope Uzodinma, in the first election conducted by Ahmad Gulak, had won. The results was declared in Abuja. The governor at the time, Senator Rocha Sokorocha, said, no, you cannot conduct state in party elections in Imo State and declare results in Abuja. At the time Adams Oshomole was national chairman, there were a lot of back and forth. Another election was conducted where people say seemingly he came fourth. I'm going somewhere. Now, the Supreme Court was making an interpretation, and he did not even contest in that election in 2019 at all. That's Hope Uzodinma. His name was not on the ballot at all. But when INEC was not INEC, forgive me, Supreme Court was making a judgment. They said he had. I mean, for the first election that happened, he is the right person. I can't even go into all the things that happened. I remember that Gulak went to that same state, and he was even killed.
There, yes.
Gulak was killed in that same Imo state. But I'm saying this to say that 14th of January 2020 cannot be forgotten in Nigeria's history, where the Supreme Court made that judgment and Hope came into power. Some call him Supreme Court governor. I don't call him that. He's an executive governor. There was a speaker at that time. His name is Collins Chiji. He was the speaker at that time. The day the Supreme Court said APC was now the party, he decamped. He left PDP. He was a speaker under Ihedioha. He decamped and ran straight to the APC so he can work very closely with the new governor, as very typical with Nigerian politicians. Now, after he got in, January to November, 13th November 2020, the governor did not really like his style. He said, you were in PDP already. The way this guy is behaving, they were not having proper synergy because he was very loyal to Ihedioha. And the governor said, you know what to do to the House members. And it happened. November 13th, 2020, Collins Chiji was taken out as speaker in Imo State. Guess what? 1 year after, Paul Emeziem was the one who came on board, but 8th of November 2021, Paul Emeziem was taken out because they called it high-handedness. After Paul Emeziem was taken out, Kennedy Ibe was appointed on that same day, 8th of November 2021. In fact, just on 2 days ago, 19th of September, the same Kennedy that took over in 2021 November was removed. He did not even stay up to 1 year in office. And Emeka Nduka was elected as, the speaker. But in all this, the deputy speaker has remained. Since 2019, he has remained deputy speaker. Amarachinda Iwanyanwu, that's his name.
The thing is,
very close friend of the Imo State governor.
Stabilizing anchor of the State House of Assembly.
Now, we can't even go into details to begin to tell you how the others would leave, but the speaker is there. And he, deputy speaker, and he's not even vying to become speaker at all.
He's been out of it because of his senatorial zone. He comes from the same senatorial zone as the governor.
Remains.
So he remains. That's it.
Now, so we usually it looks like we make a forecast. We might see a new speaker again before the end of 2023.
What I find interesting about that whole saga in Imo is that finally, when it was time for him to be removed, he begged for soft landing and decided that it should be converted to resignation for him. That's what I found very, very laughable in all of the episode.
Kennedy Ibe?
He said it should be, yes, he opted for resignation.
4 speakers in what, 2 years, 3 years, if you may?
And that's the turnover rate. It seems like as it's going, everybody will become speaker at one time or the other.
And all of these changes happened under Governor Hope Uzodinma. The 4 of them removed.
You remember we had an argument once when you once told me that you don't believe people should stay very long in the hierarchy. You remember? So you said that's
no,
how
but
to
you
get
don't
results.
you don't change speakers in what, 8 months? Every 8 months you change your speaker.
Hey, deliverable now. That's possible. That's the bottom line.
At the end of the day, if there are 18 members at the State House, all of them would have tasted that seat as speaker.
Except the deputy speaker.
Except the deputy speaker.
You know that. Moving on.
Let's talk about the PDP.
Oh, the PDP.
Oh. Are you? Wouldn't it be? Are you okay?
Okay.
Wouldn't it be honorable if you truly love the party and you're a party man to step aside for equity's sake, and so that the party can win going forward? But we'll come back to PDP after this call. Feel free to call us up and interact with us. That's the number 014489981. The PDP Okay, so it seems I'll come back to PDP again later. Good morning.
Good morning. Your name and where you're calling from? Welcome, Adiola. Go ahead.
All right.
I hope it is not, if it's not vulgar and it doesn't offend politically. Okay, I'm just saying. So let's hear it.
All
Adiola,
right.
thank you very much.
Thank you
So
very much.
can we unpack IU right now? Because he's on, as we speak, he's on a 2 weeks vacation in Europe as we speak now. He's not in the country. He jetted out of the country fresh after getting the vote of confidence
Last week.
from NEC, and so he said he needs a breather.
Was it last week or 2 weeks ago?
That's
2 weeks
it.
ago.
So he's out of the country, and all of this is happening.
Now, if we talk about leadership for Nigeria as a country, right, and a party as PDP lacks internal peace, let's not even talk about all the wranglings there. If you cannot unify the party itself, or make sure that they come to terms with what is happening. I mean, campaigns will begin. This is a huge distraction for the party, like it or not. If the campaigns begin and Wike in his usual fashion begins to gather all the media houses in Nigeria for live broadcast, you know what will happen.
A quick one. He's scheduled for one tomorrow by 10 a.m. It's fixed already. It's not going back on that one.
And this is the time where I talk about Rivers State and the State Assembly and what they are doing.
Talk to your brother Wiki. Talk to him, Pepper.
You spend millions, huge millions for every hour you're doing a live broadcast. And the governor, I was about to call him a gentleman, and then I thought again. I said, no, let's call him governor. Governor Wike, can he fit into that word gentleman? I don't know. He has done a lot of broadcasts that if each of those broadcasts were just 5 million naira, do the maths from the beginning of this year till now, you would know how much has left Rivers State. And that's why a lot of people will say that he's needed in this campaign as you approach the campaigns proper. Those 5 million that he spends, for instance, on those live broadcasts, if he puts it together, it will go a long way in printing t-shirts and face cap for Atiku and Okowa. However, his main challenge is Okowa, that is the VP. First, they had said Okowa should be removed. And he said, the Atiku, the presidential candidate, said, no, that cannot happen. They said, okay, Ayu must go. And they've hinged it on Ayu must go. Guess what? Former governors Donald Duke, Olusegun Mimiko, and some others were all on the list of Atiku's presidential campaign. There's a presidential campaign council. It had over 300 names.
Yes, and it was shared this way. The man, Akwa Ibom State Governor, leads it.
Mhm.
Then Sheyi Makinde is also there leading the Southwest. There's Otom in that also leading the Middle Belt. That's North Central Front. It just goes on and on. Then the Bauchi State Governor is supposed to be part of that too. So these are several.
He is part of it.
So right now, look, whether you take out IU from this equation, the battle line, it is to see the best time to negotiate in a war is when you are still standing. You do not negotiate with an enemy while you are on your knees. At this point, they've gone, the ship has sailed. It's
So
left the port
I,
already.
I even want to look at it holistically. You cannot win an election in Nigeria just with northern votes. I'm sorry. Because what is clearly happening in the PDP is that they are divided along religion, not religion, regional lines now. Nigeria, like it or not, is divided between the north and the south. In the north, north central, northwest, and northeast. In the south, southeast, south, and southwest. Look at the majority of the people who've pulled out from that presidential campaign council. They are on the platform of the south. Governor Donald Duke, till tomorrow, has a huge influence in Cross River State and is a member of the PDP. Though he left to the SDP to contest in 2019 and lost, he did not even get up to 40,000 votes. He has come back to the PDP again. And the current governor of the of the state in Cross River, Ayade, is on the path of the APC. But I can tell you that Donald Duke still has a huge influence in that state. Now, if, for instance, the governor, as a sitting governor, who want to deliver for his party, the APC, what is then left of the PDP in that part in that state? Also bearing in mind that a lot of young people in Nigeria seem to be tilting towards what they would call breath of fresh air from these two political parties. So if the PDP does not put their house in order, you might lose votes across these states where these supposed present governors, past governors, and some senators feel aggrieved in some way.
Well, Victor, let's quickly get back to the phone lines just to remind the listener that they can be part of our conversation for this morning on 014489981 and also send us messages on WhatsApp on 0809444091 will be the number to reach us. So we expect that. But the bottom line is they're asking for power shift. And Atiku's emergence negates that because it will still be heading back to the north after 8-year presidency of President Buhari.
But why can't IU step down? Is it that he does not have faith, so much faith in his party that Atiku will win the election? Because his argument is what comes, I mean, the outcome of the 2023 elections, what if I step down? And of course, the presidential candidates from the north, we don't know the outcome of the elections in 2023. What if I step down and he still does not win? The north has lost everything. So he's still staying there. He says after 2023, if Atiku wins, I step down. Meaning if Atiku does not win, I continue as chairman of the party.
Yeah, don't forget that. And the other day, the man who was speaking the other day.
No, but for him to be very sure not to want to step down leaves a lot to be read.
Okay. Moving on, in other news, I think there's a party called ADC.
Similar to APC. But this time, it seems like a party in crisis as well, like the PDP. The ADC expelled her presidential candidate last week, Saturday. Two weeks before campaigns.
Oh God, how to see the drama we see right now going on in the political parties? I don't know if whoever wrote the script,
it needs to be studied.
Like you would say, what a time to be in Nigeria. And it's so sad that, my sadness is see materials that could be very useful for political discussions in universities. Right now, the students are out there because they are not in classes where they can use this to generate great ideas for post 101 or any other course they are studying at this time. So it's all going to waste. But a serious party, the issue with the ADC, the candidate has come out to cry before his expulsion to say that, look, these people, they want me to share the money and shell it out. And that's what they usually do. They feel a sense of entitlement every time because it only comes once every 4 years for this party. And me, I don't want to do that. As we speak right now, the ADC, they do not have a presidential campaign organization right now. How will they forge into, the election when INEC blows the whistle and said, on your mark, set, politicians, feel free?
Ibe Kachuku, someone I even know personally, I really cannot understand his aim, trying to fight the neck of the ADC, because before he was expelled, 3rd of September, he was suspended because he refused to set up a presidential campaign council. Now, he came out and said, no, you cannot expel me because it looks like they have factional chairman in that party. He says, you're not the chairman that I respond to. So suspending me is not even, I'm not even going to pay you any attention. Guess what? They said, we suspended you. You are still shutting your mouth. We expel you from this party. However, INEC is saying it's too late because the list that was published 2 days ago has Dumebi Kachuku's name. Good morning. Ibe, his younger brother to Ibe Kachuku, Dumebi, sorry. Thank you so much. Now, Dumebi was, Ibe is a former
petroleum state
minister for state for petroleum. His younger brother, Dumebi Kachuku, is the presidential candidate of the ADC. However, he refused to I don't know why. I mean, there seemed to be no synergy between himself and the party chairman.
And now
this is the same party, that Professor Mohalu lost election to the same.
You just took the words of my mouth. So I know a certain Mohalu who will sit somewhere now and said, you see, that's why they say what the elders will sit on the chair comfortably and see. And the youth, when they climb up a tall tree, they will still not sit now. See how it's going now. He schemed them out during the primaries in the party to get the ticket. Now, to do the needful now, to get the presidential campaign organization going, he feels no, it's not necessary to do that. There is no way you are going to set up a campaign organization without money being involved, whether you know they give chichi. At this point, I'm sorry.
Let the calls come in now. Let's see how much call we can take before we wrap up the conversation.
All right, 014489981 will be the number. We're expecting your calls to come in. WhatsApp would be on 0809 4440981 will be the number. Are we heading?
On WhatsApp, we have this one. It says, Wike's camp should continue the fight. He was unfairly treated and the Northerners should not be taking the Southerners for a ride all the time. Atiku is advising that Ayu should only be removed in accordance with the PDP constitution. Why didn't he follow the PDP constitution on zoning? And then we have more here. Okay, let's look at this other message.
Which of them is that? That one says, Ayu agreed to resign if a northern candidate emerges from their presidential primaries. He has refused to resign. How do you expect anyone to believe he will resign if Atiku wins the election? Campaign after election, that's what it will be. And what else do we have there? It says, I'm not a PDP or APC supporter, but I support that the Wike camp did 100%. I support what they did 100%. If there were agreements, those agreements should be honored. In this case, it is a matter of north-south balance in key positions in the party, and Atiku's side has breached it. So what else do we have there? Anyone coming in again? And this one says Ayu is the major person to bring peace in the PDP if he agrees to step down, or all should calm down, win the election, then come back and agree on how power should be shared. And that's from Idim. Okay, so let's. The issue with the PDP, with the key representative right now is this. If they cannot keep their word now or influence one another to keep their word and do as they promised, how do we expect them to do, what do we expect them to do if they are in power? Serious food for thought. And that's from Ovis from Yaba.
All right. We just have a few more minutes on the show, so maybe we'll discuss INEC right after the break.
Yeah.
All right.
Like a good one to do.
So 014489981 is still for calls. 0809 4440981 is for your WhatsApp messages. No, that was phone lines.
2022 is here. Excitement is in the air. You've been waiting for this, and now it's time to experience it. You could win a trip to the FIFA World Cup plus other amazing prizes when you spend a minimum of 50,000 naira monthly or $1,000 with your Visa card in at least 5 transactions. Get ready. Football lives here wherever you are. T&Cs apply. Visit visa.com.ng for more. Visa, official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022. Let's Listen to this to understand the amazing power of 5G. Oops. Sorry, I played that at 5G speed. Now, here it is at a speed you're used to.
With hyper-fast internet speed, low to zero lag and buffering, multiple connections, and quality data sharing, 5G will give us amazing things like remote surgeries, self-driving vehicles, smart homes, 2 gigabytes per second downloads.
Get ready to experience incredible. And remember, no be MTN 5G.
Stretch of food before it went down to Epoma and
In the Dangote Bag of Goodies Season 3 promo. Yes, spell Dangote and become a multi-millionaire. Category 1, instant win. 5 bags of Dangote cement. Pick up the scratch card and win an instant prize. Category 2, for the star prize, pick up the scratch card inside the bags to spell DANGOTE, qualifying you to win 1 million naira cash. Category 3, the mega star prize. Pick out the scratch card inside the bags and spell DANGOTE, qualifying you to win 5 million naira cash. When you pick an alphabet with an eagle, look out for letter O that has the Dangote Eagle logo for you to win the mega star prize. Terms and conditions apply. The FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022 is here. Excitement is in the air. You've been waiting for this, and now it's time to experience it. You could win a trip to the FIFA World Cup plus other amazing prizes when you spend a minimum of 50,000 naira monthly or $1,000 with your Visa card in at least 5 transactions. Get ready. Football lives here wherever you are. T&Cs apply. Visit visa.com.ng for more. Visa, official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup Qatar 2022.
Smooth health on the drive.
It's a global observation that helps raise people's awareness.
Discussing health matters that concern you with relevant information and tips from medical experts for optimal well-being.
How to prevent it, detect, or treat it.
Tune in every Thursday at 5:15 p.m. on the Smooth Drive.
So Lagos, if you didn't know, now you know.
Is it raining?
It is still Talk Politics on Smooth 98.1 FM. We're back, and it's the final lap of the show. And so we get to dig into the INEC list that was released just a couple of days ago. So it puts paid to the fact that it's going forward, and INEC seems to be hitting the right spot so far now. At least we now know that there'll be no going back. In spite of the court cases we've seen challenge the qualification of some of the candidates and all of those, they've made it to this point. So 18 candidates are in the running. As soon as the list came out, guess what I did? I quickly went on to check on the qualification to see what was there. So the APC candidate was basically my interest, just to see basically if anything has changed from what it used to be. So it stated there, I think it was a BSc business admin that was written there, something. I saw that there. And then there was also Ipitobi is also on the list, because lately I saw they've been pushing some qualification issues around him in terms of the grade of pass he came out with from UNN and all of those stuff. So as it stands right now, these are the 18 candidates. And most importantly, I went on because of the ADC, expecting that because they expelled their presidential candidate, what would INEC do at this time now? Is it too late to, substitute a candidate at this time? For me, I just feel now it is time for all parties to make peace and know that we are heading into the election now. Let's face electioneering. But the other thing we must look out for now is the spending that will come from these parties as the whistle will be blown next week for parties to begin campaigns.
So I just have a few comments, since you want to look at it from the angle of certificates that were submitted.
Yes.
I'll just look at the 3 political parties for our time. Now, the APC candidate, Shiwaji, submitted just BSc Business and Administration, no no first school living certificate, no SSCE. That means no primary or secondary submitted. His vice submitted primary school, no secondary school. He submitted BSc Agriculture. Now, you'd think that the PDP would be any better.
Okay.
Atiku Abubakar submitted only GCE and Masters. Masters in what field I did not see here on this. I have the list in this studio as I'm speaking to you. Okowa submitted MSc, HSC, MBBS. That's, I mean, he's a medical doctor. No primary, no secondary. And I wonder why everybody was shouting about Ashiwaju. But let's keep it going. Labour Party, Peter Obi, submitted first school living certificate, WAEC and GCE, and then degree. I don't know in what field. The only person that I see that Dati Ahmed, his vice presidential candidate, submitted first school living certificates, GCE. There was no uni, but he submitted PhD as well.
Have you heard of a university?
No, of course,
that
no.
level,
Of course,
I know.
I know, of course, I know. But I mean, the normal thing, so we put it properly, is the university, let's see it, master's and then the PhD.
At
but
a certain level now.
Dumebi Kachuku submit.
Okay.
Wait, let me look for Dumebi's own.
Please do.
Since we are discussing today. Dumebi of the ADC submitted just first school living certificate, that's primary school, and WAEC.
So, why all? The thing is, we see where we are. So what I'm saying is, it beggars the question now where people say, at what level, when you are asked to submit your CV when you've attained a certain level, should you still be talking about your primary school or your highest qualification?
That question you should ask these 4 people if they were going to employ. If they had an organization and they were recruiting even for PA, with this certificate that they've submitted to INEC today,
yes,
if I wanted to apply to be PA to any of them, Atiku, Ashiwaju, any of them, would they take me with BSc and WAEC? No, what am I saying? First school living certificate and WAEC, not BSc.
But one has masters, but it's just that we don't know where the masters, what he mastered in.
Let's pack our bags.
He mastered in politics.
Let's be going.
And Victor, I forgot to say congratulations. When I saw the list, I saw your name. You're representing. I saw your name came out in the senatorial list.
Okay, so actually, the purple name is a very large family in Bonny. It's not me. I don't even know the bearer of that name, just to disclaim. Thank you very much. We've come to the end of the show for today. We'll do it again next week, Thursday at 11 o'clock.
I am Omashaye Ashenua. Thanks so much for being part of the show.
And I'm Victor Purple. My simple advice is if you registered for PVC, go and get it. Go and pick your PVC up. If you registered between January and June, right? Go and pick your PVC up. If you registered recently, still wait. October, November, you can pick it up. That's the only way you can vote. I'm seeing people online saying, oh, we want a person to be the next president, but you don't even have PVC. It's not magic. I hope Nigerians, especially the young Nigerians who are interested in elections, will not cry.
They have a structure already.
So no. Don't do that, Thomas.
Okay, sorry.
I hope they will not cry at the end of the day. Social media does not win elections in Nigeria.
There you go now. Who's doing it now?
No, social media does not win elections in Nigeria. It's PVC that counts. All right? That's the gospel according to
Saint Pepple.
And Pepple. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Great job.
Were you here?